Auckland has committed to reducing emissions by 50% on the front end. So can we really turn our back ends to the challenge facing us now? The challenge of addressing the climate risk and accelerating more ambitious local climate action? These statements are us. The place is here and the moment is now. You have the power. You can decide quite simply today to address climate risk and to accelerate a more ambitious local climate action. The council that came before you had a chance, more than once, to oppose deep-sea drilling. Today, Oil-Free Auckland is looking forward. We are anticipating the kōrero of future whakapapuranga, the stories of many generations that will come, the stories in which we know they will ask, why didn't our generation, this one now, why didn't we stop drilling for more fossil fuels when we knew we already had too much? Today, right now, you have a chance to oppose deep-sea drilling, to correct the shortcomings of the council before, to live up to the Compact of Mayors, to show real leadership to central government by acting to honor the values of the Paris Agreement that they signed, and to honor the value of the Compact of Mayors, which all of you are now accountable. Oil-Free Auckland thanks you for your time, thanks you for your service to this city, thanks you for your commitment to a safe climate for a habitable future. I urge you on behalf of all of our mokopuna to oppose deep-sea drilling here in these walls, in your chairs. If not for your legacy, do it for your mokopuna. Oppose deep-sea drilling today.
Annabeth, if I can just call you back to the table in case there's any questions. Thank you. Thank you very much for your submission. Are there any questions from councillors? No, thank you very much.
I just had a question.
Oh, okay, sorry, didn't
Thank
see you
very
against the
much.
light.
Really considered submission.
Councillor Linda Cooper.
Could you, in the submission that our expert staff have written, where do you think that's lacking if you don't think that's good enough?
Can you clarify?
As a submission. Well, we've got a submission. This is what we're doing today. We're voting for a recommendation to accept the staff's submission that they've written and put any amendments on it. So are you comfortable with that submission? Is it good enough?
Yeah, I think it's a start.
So is there anything missing that should be in there?
I haven't read the whole thing.
Read the submission. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
But my understanding is that you're motioning to
Go ahead.
not support.
No, that's an amendment. What we've got in front of us here is to support the submission.
Can you read it for me?
Well, it's very long.
Yeah. No, I
Pages
don't
and
think
pages
we'll
long.
take
No, I
the
just
time
wanted to
do
know
that.
if
Yep.
people actually read the submission that our staff have written.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
very
Councillor.
much.
Any other questions? If not, if I can thank the two submitters so far and call the third submitter to the table, Penny Bright.
Thank you, Mayor Phil. And this will be the 28th time that I have applied for and received speaking rights since the Auckland Council started on the 1st of November 2010. At the swearing-in ceremony, all of you, as Councillor Fletcher read out again today, you swore or affirmed an oath to uphold the law. And what deeply concerns me is that the piece of legislation that I believe would absolutely transform this country in terms of transparency, the Public Records Act, I don't believe has been implemented or enforced. There seems to be very little attention given to it, and yet as far as the public are concerned, that and also councillors and staff, that would be a major mechanism for helping to ensure the transparency to which we are lawfully entitled to. The Public Records Act 2005, which was passed when you, Mayor, were actually part of the Labor government that passed that, and good on you, states purposes of Act Section 3C to enable the government to be held accountable by ensuring that full and accurate records of the affairs of central and local government are created and maintained. So what I am seeking, and I've been fighting for this since 2007, and it's now 2016, nearly the end of 2016. What I am seeking, and I have made this request and submissions to council, to court and to parliament. And what I'm seeking is the devilish detail that would allow us to establish the basis for cost effectiveness, which is also legal requirement under the legislation as far as spending of public monies on private sector consultants and contractors are concerned. What am I seeking, which I believe is a lawful requirement? First, the unique contract number, the name of the consultant or contractor, a brief description of the scope of the contract start and finish dates, the exact dollar value that attaches to each and every contract, including those subcontracted, and how was the contract awarded. Now, you know me, I do my stuff on a voluntary basis, but that doesn't mean to say that my hard work and research doesn't count, because it has had the attention of central government, and in a recent select committee report, which I will have attached to these minutes, in response to evidence I produced to support petition 2014/33 of Penelope Mary Bright and 55 others, and report of the Controller and Auditor General, Governance and Accountability of Council-controlled organisations, it was recommended that the House take note of its report and, in conclusion, said, we support the petitioner's plea for transparency and standardisation of the information that Auckland council-controlled organisations make to the public. So why is this a big deal? The reason why this is a big deal, because significant international research carried out by the Project on Government Oversight in the United States that deals with federal government contracting, they spent 3.5 years. They looked across 550 different service activities, and what was their conclusion? That contracting was bad business. That contracting was twice as expensive as in-house service provision. Now, I don't see any attempt by council or CCOs to actually look at bringing services back in-house, because how many hundreds of millions of dollars of ratepayers' money could be saved by cutting out the contractors, cutting out the consultants who project manage the works contractors who then subcontract. Then when the work goes to the boots and overalls who actually get their hands dirty doing something productive, who are not even on the living wage, there are all these pinstripe suits, clip, 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 clip the ticket. Where is the cost effectiveness in that? So the last point I'd like to make, particularly regarding Auckland Transport, the law regarding Auckland Transport is really clear in terms of the necessity for transparency, for cost effectiveness, for value for money, but I have just printed off this morning from awarded contracts with Auckland Transport. They do not provide that devilish detail, because guess what? Most of their contracting is subcontracted, and subcontracting is not counted, and it's only contracts worth more than $50,000 that are recorded. And with Auckland Council, it's only contracts worth more than $100,000 which are recorded.
Thank you, Penny.
Okay.
Time has expired, so could I thank you for your presentation, but just see if there's any questions from councillors to Penny Bright. Yes, Councillor Sayers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just through you, I'd like to thank the speaker and thank them for trying to seek transparency and cost effectiveness and value for money. But my question is this, Mr. Mayor: the form of the records that the presenter's seeking, I'd just like to understand, is that by an annual report being reported on the web page, project by project, a quarterly report from Auckland Transport? Just try to understand the format that you'd like to see that presented in. Thank you.
Penny, if you'd like to
Oh,
address
sure.
that question.
The fact is that actually Auckland Transport, they do actually provide some of that devilish detail that I'm seeking, but it doesn't apply to subcontractors, and it's only contracts worth more than $50,000. So basically, the format they've already got, if they provided that additional information, well then that would be it, because I'm suitably horrified to look at the number of contracts which are direct appointments. I mean, that's a secondary question. First of all, you've got to find out where the money's going, and then whether or not the contract is value for money is a secondary question. But first of all, that's our lawful right. Where's our money going? And please, I don't want to come here in another 3 years and raise these same points when it's the law you swore to uphold. Please, get on with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? If not, thank you for your presentation, and I would like to formally move that the...
Second.
Seconded. Very quick. That the governing body thank Steve Abel, representing Greenpeace Aotearoa, and Annabeth Cohen, representing Oil Free Auckland, for their presentations regarding item 10, approval of block offer 2017 council submission, and Penny Bright for her presentation regarding the rule of law which pertains to transparency in the spending of public monies. I'll put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll just have some of this material appended to the minutes. Thanks very much.
Right. We now come to agenda item number 7, local board input. I won't try to name all the local board members here because some won't be visible to me, but if I can welcome all of the local board members here today and congratulate them on their election. But we have 2 local boards wanting to make a presentation, and the first presentation is from the Manarewa Local Board, working together, governing local body and local boards, and invite Angela Dalton, Chair of the Manarewa Local Board, to speak to that item. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you. Te mihi tuatahi ki te atua. Tēnā koutou, te lawhalawa, and good morning. Thanks for the opportunity for the local board chairs to speak with you this morning. There were more than 2 chairs. We're coming up individually. We'd like to formally welcome you, Your Worship. Welcome to councillors returning, and a warm welcome to new councillors who have been elected, who are all local board chairs or local board members, and the local board chairs find this extremely encouraging. We're quite a diverse bunch of chairs this term, and Lydia will speak to aspects of that diversity. But in a nutshell, we welcome more Pacifica voice at our table. We've upped the ante for women. We have 50% sitting as chairs, which breaks the 30% glass ceiling average for women in governance roles. And we have 5 boards sharing the roles of chair in this term. So you will get to experience a total of 26 chairs over the 3 years instead of the usual 21, sometimes 22. We sit alongside you as your colleagues in a model of shared governance. We look forward to this term being the one where we get the shared decision-making responsibilities and associated budgets right. There are some good recommendations in Gareth Stiven's Governance Framework Review that heads us along the right path in that respect. The 26 chairs will work together based on a foundation of mutual trust and respect for each other, something we discussed on Monday at our first get-together. We're going to do our best to leave our politics and egos at the door when we're debating policy issues, and no doubt we'll need to check in on that every now and then because we're only human. We're here today with the same intention, and that is to set the scene of a working relationship with you based on that same foundation of mutual trust and respect for each other's roles and shared governance. The brief points my colleagues are about to speak to you about are status for 10 in those conversations. They are matters that are important to local boards, and we hope that they will inform you of our mandate as shared governors with the local decision-making responsibilities. I'm personally looking forward to easing the load off the governing body and being able to use my other 7 board members to their potential as we welcome subsidiarity in its truest form. There is a critical cog in the wheel that requires change to enable local boards to reach their potential, and that rests with the leadership of the organisation. The CEO and the CFO must believe in subsidiarity for the organisation to gear itself towards boards receiving their rightful place in shared governance. Until this culture shift occurs, approaches like the empowered communities are meaningless. They're without teeth. Continuing to strip away our front-facing officers with discussion is disrespectful of our local board plans and our role as governors. This requires a more detailed discussion to ensure the impact of regional savings on local boards is understood by the governing body.